Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet an expert on overcoming adversity. She's the author of this book, Elise Martin, Triumph, an American girl's journey out of Saudi Arabia. It's an incredible story. It needs to be a movie. Her story just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I think Americans, we like to complain. We like to complain when somebody messes up our coffee order. We're inconvenienced because we're having to wait in line at the bank. We don't really understand adversity the way my next guest does. Elise Martin, she's the author of Triumph, an American girl's journey out of Saudi Arabia. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
It's still surreal.
Well, I mean, and I want you to see this book because this is a big, thick book. How many pages?
742.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when you started to write it, you didn't know it was going to be a book.
No, I started writing it just because I was taught journal at a young age, and it was very therapeutic. So I wrote it for, it was therapeutic, just taking out and not feeling, stuck in your head or alone in the world,
Yes.
And one day it just happened. Like I decided to actually write it, and I thought about publishing it, but truthfully, I thought I would just write it and then print it at Kinko's and stick it on the shelf in my bookshelf and forget about it.
But something drove you to share it with the world.
It was my husband and my godbrother that got their hands on it. And they were like, this needs to be published. And I said, who's going to want to read this? It's not like I've been to prison. I mean, I was locked up for 6 months in a room. Yeah, but, what girl hasn't? The problem is so commonplace. So I didn't think that it was anything interesting, and they got their hands on it and they said, you are chained to this table, lady, until you finish this, and this has to be published. And just even getting it to the printer, 10 years of writing, 1 year of editing, and then 1 year of sitting on it. Yes. Because I didn't know if I wanted it to come out. It's just so highly personal.
And it's very heavy stuff. So this is a 20-minute show, so we cannot talk about every page of this book, but kind of give us a overview. What's the book about?
I think it's mostly about women's rights and not feeling alone in the world. Just we can't change anything if we're silenced, right? And the problem is we grow up silenced. So in Saudi Arabia, we grow up being taught that silence is the only answer, right? That's the only way you get anything is that, you keep quiet and you just hope for a moment where you can get something done, but we're not moving forward, we're not moving forward as women if we're not speaking. We can't solve problems if we don't talk about problems. And I wanted to write the book to talk about the problems so we can start having a dialogue and a conversation about the problems.
Well, and talk about the culture, because people in America really can't relate. I think you tell a story in the book about trying to have a Barbie doll when you were a little girl.
It was an interesting experience because my grandpa, I did something good apparently, and so he took me to the toy store to get a Barbie doll. And if for your kid, everything is normal. Kids adapt so easily.
Yes.
So it was normal. We get to the toy store. The the prayer call is going off, and the storekeeper is pulling the gate to lock the store down because you have to close everything when it's prayer time and go to prayer. And the storekeeper looks at my grandpa and nods, and my grandpa looks at the storekeeper and nods. And then we come inside, and the storekeeper locks everything up, lights off. We're walking, like, toy stores look so eerie to a small child. Like, I remember the teddy bears looking creepy because it's dark.
Yes.
And we walked all the way to the end of the toy store. And then he opens this, like, closet door. And then he reaches up and he pulls the little string on the light bulb that's moving around. And my grandpa kneels down to my level. And he looks at me and he says, "Pick one, let's go." I said, "Okay." So then I turned to the wall, all these Barbies in boxes. And I said to myself on the inside, I'm going to get a dress this time. I'm going to get Barbie in a dress. I want one in a fluffy dress. That's what I want. And I'm like, which one? So my grandpa like knelt down again and said, "Let's go." I said, "Okay." Tough decision. So I grabbed the box. They put it in a black bag and wrapped it up so it couldn't be seen, because Barbies were considered pornography if they weren't dressed appropriately, because they weren't wearing abayas or headscarves or whatever, so they had to be smuggled in.
Wow.
So we get home, and I opened the box, and of course I ended up with a bikini again, which was so disappointing. But it was because all the boxes, all you could see was the head. Oh. You couldn't see the rest of the what they were wearing, nothing.
Yes.
And as a kid, like, there was no time for me to like tip the box over and like try and look into it. I just had to pick one and go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible story. Let's go ahead and show the book cover on the screen, because you can get this on Amazon. It's available to order right now. You have a book launch party coming up here tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow. Yes.
So I'm excited for that. Like, to the person who's struggling right now, because there's a lot of women who are in dysfunctional relationships. What is your message to somebody who's, they know they're in a bad place?
Talk to someone. Definitely talk to someone. And my Twitter handle is in the back of the book. And you can find me on Instagram and talk to someone. You know, it helps, you know, even if that person can't help you, it helps to have someone to just talk to. If you can't afford to get, like, let's say, you know, in the US, therapy, right? You still just talk to someone. Start making deeper connections. It's scary. I mean, sometimes you get stuck in a hard place and you forget to make deeper connections, which are necessary for humankind.
Yes.
And feeling alone, it's a dangerous place to be. And I'm surprised that I am even alive and sane.
Well, Elise, what impresses me most about you, because, you know, you take your upbringing and it could have caused you to go into a very dark place.
Yeah.
Your book cover is amazing. You have this really cool outfit and red. It's powerful. So how did you find kind of your inner superhero?
I don't know. I think the photographer found it, honestly. I brought a bunch of clothes and he said, "Wear this, stand there, look at the camera." Oh, I don't know if I'm an inner superhero. I'm just a human. I'm just a person here. Just like anyone else. But I know that it's important because so we have something we call the network, which is a lot of Saudi girls together. And the point is that all of them, if they became as public as I am, it puts them in extreme danger.
Yes.
Where I'm perfectly placed, there's nobody the Saudi regime can call and have me fired. There's no job they can have me fired from, right? I stand, you know? And so I realize that I'm so perfectly placed, and sometimes it's your duty. If you have the ability to speak, you should speak, right?
Yes.
And the ones that don't have the ability to speak, then they help in other ways, you know? But but all the ones that have the ability to speak should speak and stand up and push for the change we need, especially for Saudi Arabia. Women's rights are, even though the media is pushing and whitewashing and doing all of this, that the women's rights is so abysmal. I mean, they changed the name of male guardianship to personal status law. I don't even think the Supreme Court could define that properly. Personal status. I don't think anyone can define that except your personal. Anyways, but the point is that they keep changing the names of things, but they're still there. A woman can drive, but a woman still needs permission. Women can do this. Women can get a passport, but woman still, if she got a passport and was planning to travel and her husband decided he didn't like it, he just pushes a little red button and she gets reported as a runaway and the cops bring her home. The problem with abuse, so people might say there's abuse in America, right? There's rape everywhere, there's bad situations. The problem in Saudi Arabia is that the law in itself facilitates all of these things. And that's a problem. And that's just a big problem. So really the book, when I talk to people about it, I say it's about women's rights and male guardianship and so that people can go through the journey with me, because that's how I wrote it. Like, so you can understand that it starts from our childhood, teaching us that we're to be wives, and we're to be subservient, and we're to be silent, and so many things.
Well, Elise, I know you don't see yourself as a superhero, but I see you as one, because you could have taken all of this and, as you said, go to Kinko's and put it on a bookshelf. But you decided to write it and go forward with this. And this is going to help so many women. I know this.
I hope so. I really hope so. Oh, gosh, you're going to make me cry.
You're amazing, Elise.
Hi.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts?
What do you want to leave people with?
Oh, I don't know. Find me a cave I can hide in.
Okay, show the back of the book.
Yeah, the back, yeah. So
tell me about that picture.
The photographer did it with a light. He made me don the head cover like I would, and then he brought out a light. It was actually brilliantly crafted. His name is Noel. He's a genius for sure.
Elise, I'm so proud of you for having the courage to go forward with this. It's going to help so many people.
It's, the hardest writing is honest writing. That's the hardest writing. And the hardest writing to publish is honest writing. You always wonder who you're going to hurt, but history doesn't get recorded by people who alter it in order to write it so no one gets offended.
Amen.
And that's the way I wrote the book. Had to change a few names, but otherwise...
So beautiful.
It's meant to be just...
It's perfect. It's perfect. It's a triumph.
Yep, it's a triumph. It really is.
Okay, we're going to end with the Amazon page so you can order your book today. Elise Martin, thank you so much for sharing your heart and your story with us.
Thank you.
You bet.
For having me on.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.